At its most simple, literacy is defined as having the ability to both read and write. However, in my opinion, literacy at its core is much deeper than that. It includes understanding ideas, conveying messages, and being able to dig deeper to find meaning. Without the ability to read and understand, or to write and convey ideas or messages, students would be unable to explore the world around them. Being literate allows an endless number of doors to open, not only in education, but also in your personal life. To me, the most important aspect of literacy was the fact that it allowed for me to discover reading in books. This is my personal literacy story, or How I Learned to Love Reading by Maddie Brew. From a young age, reading was important in my home. One of the most fond memories I have is of my Grandma Belle reading with me. Grandma Belle was a lover of books and had a big influence on my budding interest. I remember vividly at 6 years old reading Teddy Finds a Home with her, and I was doing great. I was so proud of myself until I got to a sentence. Katie's mother found the little bear and put her on the high shelf. "What's a poot, Grandma?" I asked, quickly realizing my mistake. I'd been doing so great at fluently reading, but I made a typical error, and through some code breaking, I was able to recognize my phonetic mistake, sound out the word, and move forward. As I grew, so did my vocabulary, and I started to read on my own. I discovered the Magic Treehouse novels by Mary Pope Osborne in grade 1, and that really changed everything for me. I loved that these books incorporated actual historical time periods and events, which allowed for me to learn on a much deeper level while also enjoying reading. These books allowed me to exercise my meaning maker abilities and to really understand what the novels were about and have a concrete takeaway from them. I won't forget those books anytime soon. As my love of reading grew, my parents would take me to the library and allow me to take out as many books as I wanted. I was always amazed at the number of books they had. In school, I had also been able to help other students. Because I had been reading so much at home, my vocabulary had grown and my spelling was strong. My teacher recognized this and gave me a leadership role in the class to help others with their tests. I was using literacy in real-life situations, becoming a true text user. This also helped me to realize that I loved teaching. I went through a period in middle school where I did not read as much. I was too busy hanging out with friends or participating in extracurricular activities that my reading suffered. I did read some novels, but not nearly as much as before. Most of my reading took place in school, novels that I had to read. The Outsiders and The Giver are two that I really enjoyed. That being said, I did win the English award in grade 8, which was a pretty cool accomplishment for me at the time. It was nice to be recognized for doing something that I loved. In grade 9, I remember some of my peers dreading English class and having to actually read. I, however, was looking forward to it. I even found myself enjoying Shakespeare. Kind of weird, right? In grade 11, I remember explicitly finding one of my favorite books to date, 3-Day Road by Joseph Boyden. This book really affected me. It taught me more about Canadian history, and I became increasingly attached to the characters and the topic. I had to take a step back and critically reflect on why and how this book impacted me, as it did, making me a text analyst. This also opened a huge door for me to Canadian history that I didn't know about, and it allowed me to explore other novels with similar content. I realized that my literacy story is different than others for different reasons. I am luckier than some children who did not have the same literate background as I did. Coming from a middle-class home, I had access to lots of books and resources which gave me access to reading, and it made it very accessible. I also had adults in my life who themselves loved to read, which had really influenced me. These environmental factors had an overall positive impact on my literacy story. It is my hope to be the teacher that encourages students to read and write and to develop a love for literacy as I have. But hey, I know not all students are going to love reading, but I believe that creating a positive learning environment can really result in positive experiences. I would like to be the teacher that instills in students the importance of literacy and the doors that it can open for them in the future. Without it, I know I wouldn't be where I am today.